Hey Taylor, thanks so much for this, because you're right, I didn't really directly answer your question. I was more just like, why do you need to increase? Because you're outputting a great amount. And I just wanted to kind of normalize that what you're doing is amazing and it's enough. But if you're wanting to increase, we have to consider all the variables with pumping, and we have to look at, is mom pumping correctly? I teach responsive pumping. I teach you to pump in a way that responds to your body. Like if you're pumping, I want you to think of your pump as a baby, and what would your baby be doing in that moment of time when your output is happening. So if you're having a letdown, what would your baby be doing? They would be doing those long hard pulls, so you should be in expression mode. If you're not having a letdown and you're barely getting milk to flow, you should be in stimulation mode, asking for another letdown. So I've attached a series here that you can grab to kind of describe this, but there's lots of variables when it comes to pumping, so I want to make sure I'm covering the variables before I ask you to do something else. The other thing is, do your flanges fit correctly? And I've got a ton of videos on fitting for flanges properly, okay? So you can go and look through those. The third thing is, are you using a wearable too much? Because listen, wearables aren't going to help with that output. We need to make sure we're using a quality plug-in pump, wall pump. We need to make sure we are doing that at least 50% of the time. So those variables right there are super important to cover when it comes to maximizing output and increasing supply. The other thing is, you need to understand that it can take about 10 to 14 days to really see an increase in your supply, because we're using a pump and not a baby. Now a baby, 3 days and they'll increase your supply. Pumps are a little different. So all those variables come into play when I talk about increasing supply. And I want to make sure you're covering all those variables before I ask you or tell you to do something else. So if all those variables are covered, you're pumping correctly, flanges fit correctly, you're understanding how to work with your pump and not against your pump, all those things, then simply, if you want to increase supply, you're going to have to pump more times a day and see if that works for you. And I would never ask a mom to do anything extra, because we're stressed out already. And that's why in that video I covered paced bottle feeding, because you are actually outputting a great amount. It's amazing. But you're wanting to increase, and I think my thing was like, ooh, but do you need to? Because like that's just extra work. So big hugs. I got you. Cover the variables, make sure those variables aren't existing for you. Take a deep breath. You're doing an amazing job right now. Hang in there. If you have questions, let me know.